Hey, guess what? Looks like they made a mistake this week. In a scheduling conflict, they've actually delivered 2 cars instead of 1. What's a guy to do? This is an enthusiast dream right here. We have 2 examples of Germany's finest. Over here, the S5 Cabriolet. This is just sex on wheels. And over here, the C63. This, hell on wheels. And just look at these 2 beauties. We have a combined 8 exhausts and almost 800 horsepower of pure German fun right here. So we have a week with each of these cars. The question is, when do you drive which car? When are you gonna have the one with the top end? When are you gonna have the one with the 450 plus horsepower? Check it out. What we have here is Audi's S5 Cabriolet. Now you know how much we love the S5 Coupe, the one with the V8, the one with all that noise, all that power. Well, this is essentially the same car without the top. It's got a soft top, which they did for weight and also for aesthetics purposes. But they also changed the engine a little bit. Instead of offering the V8, they have a turbocharged V6, which still produces a respectable 333 horsepower. The car gets about 20 miles to the gallon, and as you see it here equipped, it's pretty base with the navigation package. You look at about $62,000. This is, in my opinion, the best looking convertible under $70,000, bar none. One of the great things about the S5 is its size. It's based on the A4, and as you know, the A4 is bigger than the 3 Series and some of the other competitors. It's a wider car. And you know what? If you're a little broad in the shoulders, a car like this is really comfortable. I really enjoyed driving this car, spent a week with it. It's not only sexy and beautiful, but it's really comfortable, and it's still got power. You know, 0 to 60, 5.1 seconds, not too bad for a convertible. As you know, Audi has some of the best interiors in the industry. I mean, they take care of everything. With the S5, they've actually added a few extra steps with this 2-tone seats. You got this nice red color and of course the red stitching. And when I say Audi thinks of everything, check this out. Put the key in, and they thoughtfully bring the seatbelt forward so you don't have to reach back. Thank you, Audi. And last but not least, the S5 comes with Audi's legendary all-wheel drive system, Quattro, which makes this the best handling convertible in its class, maybe on the market. Now, if you're in this kind of mood, you want to go out for a ride down PCH, this is a wonderful car. However, come over here and look at this bad boy, and that's what this car is. It is the bad boy car. 6.3 liter V8, 451 horsepower. Look at this thing, it just screams, I'm gonna get into some trouble. Some of you may not know, but Mercedes is celebrating its 125th anniversary. They actually were the first ones to invent the automobile. And AMG has just been a tremendous brand for Mercedes. Now, I want some clarification on the C63 versus its older brothers, the E and the S63. Now, even though they really are the same engine, you might ask, well, how come one engine gets 451 horsepower, another one gets over 500? Well, the reason is because if you're going to spend an extra $20,000 for an E63, you want to know you're getting a little more, and that E63 is faster. However, there are a lot of aftermarket companies that are taking this C63 and getting it up to 500, 550, even pushing that 600 horsepower mark. So this car here is one hell of a car, and it's a hell of a track car. I mean, and you look at this car, it's really kind of subtle compared to the C300 or C350. There really aren't a whole lot of distinctions, but there are enough that anybody who knows anything about Mercedes will know this car is a screamer. The C63 has 3 transmission modes. The default one is comfort, and that's the one that's going to get you the best fuel economy. And of course, if fuel economy is important to you in this car, don't buy it. Then you have sport mode and manual. So as soon as you hit one of the paddles, you go right into manual. If you put it into sport mode, you are going to get some higher shift points, which is just a wonderful thing, especially if you ever get on the track, because then you could hold that gear longer. Just a couple of highlights on the C63. It has an AMG front suspension with 1.4-inch wider track and larger stabilizer bar, and an AMG rear suspension with a 1/2-inch wider track and increased camber. You know, I don't know what all that means. All I know is that we had this car on the track. It handled like a dream, and I just love it. Let's talk briefly about pricing. This car starts in about $58,000. As you see it here, it's fully equipped, $68,000. Really a bargain when you consider the power. And the one knock I have about this car is if you're not 5'6", 150 pounds, you're gonna have a hard time with these seats. As you can see, they're extremely contoured, very narrow. I mean, I shoved myself in there, but you know, they're really designed to hold you in place, which is wonderful, but they're also designed to hold somebody who's really small in place. The bottom line is you really can't go wrong, and I'm actually going to have both of these in my garage. And the reason is when I want to take my little girl out for a ride, this is the car. And if I want to take my little boy out for a ride, this is the car.